Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to get into something I know a lot of you have been asking about.
Yeah, this one's been coming up a lot.
Yeah, and that is horse chestnut.
It's a good one.
It is. I'm really excited about this one. We've got research articles, we've got historical excerpts, we've got a lot to cover.
Yeah, we do.
So, without further ado, let's just jump right in.
Sounds good.
Okay, so first of all, I mean, this is something that I feel like a lot of people have just kind of seen around. It's,
Right. It's everywhere.
yeah, they're just there, right?
Yeah, and people probably don't even realize that they have all of these medicinal uses.
Yeah. So tell me, like, where does this tree actually come from? Like, what's its origin story?
So it's native to forests of the Balkans, Western Asia, and the Himalayas.
Wow, the Himalayas.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, okay.
So it's Aesculus hippocastanum, if you want to get technical.
I love when you get all fancy with the Latin names.
It's important. It's important.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
But yeah, so it made its way over to Europe in the 16th century,
Okay.
and it became a really popular ornamental tree.
Oh, okay. So just because it looks pretty, right?
Exactly. But also they realized that it had a lot of medicinal benefits.
Uh-huh. Okay. So, well, we are going to talk about that. But first, some really interesting historical bits here.
Yeah.
I'm looking at, okay, so it actually got its name from Turkey because they used it to treat chest pain in horses.
Right.
Interesting.
Who would have thought?
I know, right? Like, how did they, like, who was the first person to be like, oh, this'll help the horse?
Who knows? But I mean, that's where the name comes from.
And then in France, they used the oil from horse chestnut for rheumatism.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's got, I mean, all over the world, it's got all this long history of use. But, like, does modern science actually back that up?
It does, yeah.
Really?
So it's been shown to be really effective in treating what's called venous disorders.
Yeah.
So things like varicose veins,
Oh.
venous ulcers, edema, which is water retention, and even hemorrhoids.
Okay, so it's specifically for veins.
Yeah, venous, yeah.
So, like, what is it about this tree that makes it so good at that?
So it's got this compound called essin,
Okay.
and essin strengthens vein walls and improves circulation.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Okay.
It also has flavonoids and tannins, which have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties.
So it's like a triple whammy.
Exactly. Yeah, it basically reduces swelling and improves blood flow.
Okay, I'm starting to understand why this is such a superstar.
It's pretty great, yeah.
Okay, so now are all parts of the horse chestnut used medicinally?
So they use the leaves and the bark to make what's called a decoction.
A decoction, what's that?
It's like a really strong tea,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's mostly for external use.
Okay.
But the main part that's used for like the vein problems, that's the chestnuts, the fruit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they extract oil from that too, like we said. That's traditionally been used for rheumatism.
Okay, so it's the fruit itself
Mm-hmm.
it's got all that goodness.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um so it sounds amazing, but are there any risks or things to be aware of with using horse chestnut?
Yeah, so like most things, moderation is key.
Oh yeah, of course.
You don't want to go overboard. Too much of it can cause some stomach upset, like nausea, diarrhea, that kind of thing.
Okay, so don't go crazy with it.
Exactly, yeah. And then high doses can actually be toxic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you want to be careful. And they also don't recommend it for children
Okay.
unless a doctor, says it's okay.
Okay, yeah, of course.
And it can interact with blood thinners, so
Oh, huh.
yeah, if you're on any medication like that,
Yeah.
just talk to your doctor before you start using it.
Always good advice.
Huh?
Okay. And then what else? Oh, and applying it to broken skin can cause irritation.
Yeah, that's a good one to know too.
Okay. Okay. So, know your body, know your skin, and all of that. Okay. So we've covered its origin. We've covered these traditional uses. We've covered how science backs it up, and we've covered safety.
Yep.
So what's next? Like, how can people actually use this stuff?
So these days you've got options like capsules are really popular.
Capsules. Okay.
Those are good if you're looking for like longer term vein support.
Okay.
And then there's lotions that you can apply to the skin directly.
Okay.
That's good for things like varicose veins and hemorrhoids.
Got it.
And then, of course, you've got your decoctions and oils that we talked about. Those are mainly for external use.
Right, right. Okay, but how do you, like how much to use or
Right.
which kind to get or
Yeah, you always want to follow medical advice for dosage.
Okay.
Just to make sure you're using the right amount and the right form for you.
Got it. Got it. Now, this might be a silly question, but does it matter? Like if you're taking it in a capsule versus say a decoction or a lotion?
That's not a silly question at all. That's a good one. So researchers have been looking at that, and there are some interesting findings, especially in Europe, where they often use these special preparations of what's called esculacide.
Aesculus.
Yeah. Basically, research has shown that esculacide in its natural form isn't absorbed very well in the intestines.
Yeah.
So these special preparations are designed to help your body absorb it more efficiently,
Okay.
so it can actually work better.
So it's not just about what you take, but how your body can actually use it.
Right, exactly.
That is fascinating.
It is, yeah. And this is just, a little glimpse into the world of horse chestnut. There's so much more to learn.
I feel like we could talk about this all day, but I think we've laid a good foundation for this first part of our deep dive.
Yeah, we've gone from its mountain origins to, its modern uses.
Yeah, and touched on how to use it safely and effectively.
Exactly. And, we highlighted the importance of, scientific validation and, really understanding how these powerful compounds work.
And always, always, always get professional guidance for personalized care.
Absolutely, yep.
Okay, now before we wrap up this part, something just popped into my head. We've been talking a lot about, like, internal uses, but you mentioned topical applications as well.
Oh, yeah. Like the French using the horse chestnut oil for rheumatism, that's topical.
Yeah.
And the lotions for varicose veins and hemorrhoids, those are also topical.
So it's kind of like you can benefit from it inside and out.
Right, exactly.
Interesting. Well, I think we've covered a lot in this first part of our horse chestnut deep dive. I feel like you've been a fantastic guide, taking us from its roots all the way to, how we can use it today.
It's been my pleasure. Always love talking about, the healing power of nature.
Absolutely. And for you listening, we hope you've enjoyed this first part of our journey into the world of horse chestnut. Stay tuned for part 2 where we've got more to discuss, so stick around.
It'll be good.
I was thinking about something we talked about last time. That whole thing about the tablets, maybe having more of that Essen stuff.
Oh, yeah, the tablet.
What's like other forms?
Right. Because the tablets can, the way they make them, they can kind of standardize the dose.
So you know how much you're getting.
Exactly, yeah. So you're getting a consistent amount of that Essen.
Essen, just to remind everyone, is that like vein boosting compound?
Yes, exactly.
Right, okay. So what about the lotions or the, was it decoctions?
Yeah, decoctions.
Do they have like the same amount of that stuff?
So it can vary a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it depends on, which part of the plant they use, how they extract it, all that stuff.
Oh, so you really got to like read the labels.
Yeah, do your research, choose a good brand.
Oh my gosh, it's like a whole detective thing.
It can be, but yeah, you want to make sure you're getting a quality product.
Okay. So we've been talking a lot about veins.
Yeah.
But are there other ways people have used horse chestnut, like traditionally?
Oh, yeah, definitely. So, I mean, it's most famous for its effects on veins, but people have used it for all sorts of things. Yeah, like for instance, some cultures use it for skin conditions.
Oh, wow.
Like eczema, and some people even use it as a hair rinse.
What? Hair rinse?
Yeah, to like make their hair shiny and strong.
Okay, horse chestnut, it does it all.
It's pretty amazing.
Okay, so are there any traditional uses that haven't been like scientifically proven yet?
Yeah, that's a good question. And like we said, its benefits for vein health are really well documented.
Okay.
But some of those other traditional uses, like for rheumatism and lung diseases,
Okay.
they need more research.
Oh, interesting. So there's still more to learn.
Absolutely. Always more to learn.
So, okay, let's go back to the vein thing. We've got all these different forms, like the capsules, the lotions, the decoctions.
Yeah.
Is there like a time when one would be better than another?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So like, if you're looking for just overall vein health
Okay.
and better circulation, capsules are probably the way to go.
Okay, capsules for overall.
Yeah, long-term support, But if you have something specific, like visible varicose veins or hemorrhoids, you might want to go with a topical lotion.
So just put it right on the spot.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And I guess it depends on, what you prefer too, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. Some people hate taking pills. Some people love lotions,
Right. So it's about what works for you.
Exactly, yeah. And it's not just about horse chestnut, right? Like, it's part of a bigger picture.
Oh, right.
You want to exercise, eat healthy, all
Yeah.
that good stuff.
Can't just rely on the horse chestnut.
No, definitely not, although it can definitely help.
Okay, speaking of horse chestnut, I almost forgot. It's a tree.
Oh, yeah, it's easy to forget when we're talking about all the science.
Right. It's a beautiful tree.
Yeah, especially in the spring when it's got all those white flowers.
I've seen those. They're gorgeous, yeah. And then those fruits,
Yeah, the spiky
the
ones.
spiky ones, yeah, they're everywhere in the fall.
Everywhere, yeah. It's amazing how one tree can do so much, you know?
Right. Like look pretty and also heal you.
Exactly.
Speaking of those fruits, our research says that horse chestnut extract can be as effective as compression socks for treating venous ulcers.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
That's huge, right? Like compression socks are like the go-to.
I know, it's pretty impressive.
It's like nature is powerful.
It really is, yeah. And for some people, I think, using a natural remedy might be more appealing than wearing those socks all the time.
Yeah, especially when it's hot out. I
Exactly.
can see that. Well, this brings me back to, what we've been saying. Talk to your doctor,
Always, always.
right? Like they can help you figure out what's best for you.
Exactly, yeah. They know your medical history, they know your medications.
Right, right. Okay, so are there any like groups of people who should be like extra careful with horse chestnut?
So, like we said, children,
Okay.
unless a doctor says it's okay,
Okay, yeah.
and then pregnant and breastfeeding women should talk to their doctor before using it.
Okay, so when in doubt, always talk to the doctor.
Yep, that's the best advice.
Okay, and what about like interactions with medications? We mentioned blood thinners.
Yeah, definitely. You always want to tell your doctor about every medication you're taking.
Okay.
And that includes supplements and natural remedies.
Oh, so even though it's natural, it can still like mess with stuff.
Right, exactly. It's powerful stuff.
Okay, so you got to respect the horse chestnut.
Definitely.
Okay, now, something else that came up in our research was how that esculacide is absorbed.
Oh, yeah, the Aesculus.
Yeah, it said that like in Europe, they use these special preparations.
Yeah, yeah. They figured out ways to make it more, like, bioavailable.
Bioavailable?
It means your body can absorb it better.
Oh, okay.
So it's more effective.
So it's not just about what you take, it's also about how it gets into your system.
Right, exactly. It's fascinating stuff.
It is. So I'm wondering, does it matter if you take it with food or like at a certain time of day?
That's a really good question. I mean, we need more research to know for sure. But generally, taking herbal remedies with food can help with absorption,
Okay.
and it can also prevent stomach upset.
So it's like give it a little helper, right? Like have a snack with your horse chestnut.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And what about timing? Like morning, night, does it matter?
So there aren't any specific guidelines,
Right.
but some herbalists recommend taking it earlier in the day
Okay.
because it can, help with circulation throughout the day.
So it's like a morning boost for your veins.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Especially if you tend to get, tired legs or swollen ankles later in the day.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay. And then remember how we were talking about not putting it on broken skin?
Oh, yeah, yeah. That's very
Like, especially if you're using the lotions or decoctions?
Right, you don't want to irritate it further.
Okay, so be mindful.
Yes, definitely.
So thinking long term,
Mhm.
are there any like risks to using horse chestnut over a long period?
I mean, it's generally considered safe
Okay.
when you're using the right dose, but it's always a good idea to watch out for any side effects, even if they're mild.
Okay.
Like some people might get an upset stomach.
Even with like a normal dose?
Yeah, it can happen.
Okay, so just, pay attention.
Exactly. Yeah. Listen to your body.
This whole conversation has got me thinking about sustainability,
Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
especially with something like this. It's a natural resource.
Absolutely. We want to make sure it's harvested responsibly.
Right. We don't want to like deplete the horse chestnut supply.
No, definitely not. It's about finding that balance,
Right. Using it, but not abusing it.
Exactly. We want to be able to use horse chestnut for generations to come.
Okay, so are there any like organizations that are working on making sure it's harvested sustainably?
Oh, yeah, there are a few, like the American Herbal Products Association.
Right.
They do a lot of work on sustainable herbalism.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, and United Plant Savers is another good one.
Okay, we'll make sure to link to those in the show notes for anyone who wants to learn more.
Perfect. Yeah, that's a great idea.
So I think we've really gone deep on this one.
Yeah, we've covered a lot.
We've looked at different preparations, those traditional uses, talked about safety, sustainability.
And, we've talked about that balance between science and tradition.
Right. It's not just one or the other.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, this has been fascinating. Hopefully everyone listening is finding it just as interesting as we are.
Yeah, I hope so.
We've got one more part to go, so stay tuned for that. We'll wrap it all up.
It'll be a good one.
Okay, so here we are, last part of our horse chestnut deep dive.
I know it's gone by fast.
It has. But, before we say goodbye to the horse chestnut,
Yeah.
I want to make sure that everyone listening is really clear on like the key takeaways.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, good idea.
So first of all, I mean, this is a powerful thing.
Oh, absolutely.
It really works for
Yeah.
those vein
It's
problems.
like science has proven it,
Right. Okay, so like just remind us again, what are those compounds that make it so special?
Okay, so you've got essing,
That's
flavonoids, and tannins.
the trifecta.
And they work together to, reduce inflammation, protect those cells, and improve circulation.
So you get less swelling, less pain, all that good stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not just an old wives' tale.
Right, exactly. This is like real deal
It's
stuff.
backed by science.
Okay, now we also talked about how different forms of horse chestnut
Right.
can have like different amounts of those good compounds.
Exactly.
So, like, what's the takeaway there? Like, what should people keep in mind?
I mean, you really got to read the labels.
Okay, so do your research.
Yeah, do your research. Look for a good brand.
And look for, like you said, the standardization.
Make
Yeah.
sure they're, extracting it properly.
Right. It's not all created equal.
No, definitely not.
Okay. Now, we've talked a lot about the benefits.
Yeah.
But, it's not a magic bullet.
Yeah,
And there are some things that people should be aware of.
definitely. Yeah, you got to be smart about it.
So, like, what were those risks we talked about?
Okay, so too much of it.
Can cause problems.
Stomach upset. Yeah.
Right. And it could even interact with, like, other medications.
Especially blood thinners.
Yeah. So, we say this all the time, but talk to your doctor
Always a good idea. Yeah.
before you start, taking anything new.
Right, they can help you figure out the right dose, the right form.
Yeah. And they know, your medical history and all that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Now, remember we also talked about how it's not just about taking horse chestnut.
Oh, yeah, that's important.
Like, it's got to be part of a bigger plan,
And
right?
a holistic approach, yeah.
You're like, what else should people be doing for their vein health?
I mean, exercise is huge.
Okay. Exercise.
Eating a healthy diet
Right.
and, avoiding sitting or standing for too long.
Oh, yeah. To get that blood flowing.
Exactly.
Okay. So it's like, you got to take care of your whole self.
Right, it's all connected.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a great place to wrap up our horse chestnut deep dive.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
We have. I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too. It's always fun to dig into these natural remedies.
It's
Yeah.
amazing, what nature can do.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Okay, so for everyone listening, thank you for joining us on this journey.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
We hope you learned a thing or two about horse chestnut.
And maybe you'll even give it a try,
Yeah. But remember, all things we talked about, be safe, be smart,
Talk to your doctor.
talk to your doctor, and, keep exploring.
Keep learning.
Keep learning about all the amazing things that nature has to offer.
That's what we're all about.
It is. Okay, so until next time, keep diving deep.
And stay curious.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.